Welcome to the beginner guitar course where we're going to get you learning to play guitar step by step. My name's Dan Esseff. I've been playing guitar for over 20 years and an instructor since 2017. And throughout this course, we're going to learn how to tune, read tabs, play chords, strumming, riffs, playing real songs that you know, along with MP3 backing tracks and PDFs along the way for you to download and use. And you can follow along through this entire course with any standard electric, acoustic, or classical guitar. And in this intro video, we're going to cover what guitar to choose, how to hold it, what accessories you should start with, and what your typical practice routine should look like. So let's just get right into it. The assumption is that you already have a guitar, but just in case you don't, I'm going to give you some real quick advice here. Just to clarify some different types of guitars. So you have the electric guitar like this that needs to be plugged into an amplifier to be heard, typically for rock music. You have steel string acoustic guitars like this, where you'll most commonly hear it with country music, but you'll hear it in all kinds of different music. And you have the classical guitar that has that warmer and softer sound to it because of those softer nylon strings. Any of these guitars will work for this course. If I had to choose one, I would either go with the steel string acoustic or the classical. Now, they're self-sufficient, they're cost-effective. The classical is easier to play with those soft strings. However, you hear the steel string guitar more often. At the time of making this video, you could find a good beginner guitar on Guitar Center's website for about $150 to $200. Just keep in mind that if you do go with an electric, you do need more accessories, which we're going to cover next in this video. As for which guitar to choose, I would say stick with a name brand and keep it a new guitar, not used or anything. Some name brands that I trust are Fender, Squier, Ibanez, Yamaha, Epiphone. They're all pretty good. Just avoid those no-name brands that you'll find on like Amazon because they tend to be terrible. If you want a more specific recommendation, you can head to the gear page on my website where I do have some direct links to guitars that I do recommend to people. And the last thing to remember here is that the guitar doesn't make the player. Even a cheaper guitar sounds good in a really good guitar player's hands, so there's no need to spend a lot of money on a guitar. All right, so let's talk about what other stuff, what accessories you should have to go with your guitar. First is the guitar pick. If you don't already have some, go pick up a pack or two of a dozen because not only are they cheap, but they're very easy to lose. Now, I personally recommend going with a medium pick. That's usually what I stick with. And if it doesn't say medium on the pick itself, it'll usually say between 0.45 to 0.73 millimeters. The next essential you're going to need is a tuner. Now, if you don't have time to run out or to order one, you can download the app Guitar Tuna, which is free and pretty easy to use. Personally, I prefer these Snart clip-on tuners because they're really handy and they just clip onto the guitar and just hang out. As for how to use the tuner, we're going to be covering that in the next video of the course. Now, if you're playing on an electric guitar and it didn't come with an amplifier in like a bundle or anything, you're going to want a small practice amp for at-home use. My personal go-to is the Boss Katana Mini because it sounds great for its size, it's small, it's not expensive. It also has the options to run on batteries and to use headphones. My one gripe is that it doesn't come with a power supply. Out of the box, you just have to use batteries, which don't last super long and you have to replace them. So to plug it into a wall, you do need a 9-volt power supply. Now, if you're looking for one that works with the Boss Katana Mini, I do have a link on my website on the gear page, and you can just check out the link in the description for that. Just like with choosing a guitar, when you're first picking a practice amp, stick with a well-known name brand like Marshall, Vox, Orange, Ibanez, Blackstar, Boss, because you're typically going to get better quality from it. And as an electric player, you're going to need to connect your guitar to the amplifier with a cable. Any old instrument cable will do. There's no need to get like brand specific or anything here to start with. Another handy accessory to have is a guitar strap. That way you can casually play and just walk around the house. They're cheap and no need for anything fancy. One accessory I really recommend is a spring-loaded capo like this one. You can get them on Amazon for like under $10, so they're pretty cheap and they're really handy. We'll be using them throughout the course for some exercises and to play some songs. And last, you're going to want a guitar stand. Again, nothing fancy or expensive, keep it simple, because nothing's worse than like leaning your guitar against the desk, turning around only to hear that loud bang as it hits the floor. So these are worth every penny. And a good piece of advice is to keep the guitar somewhere where you're going to see it often, because then you're going to want to practice more. Like I mentioned before, if you're overwhelmed from everything I've talked about here and you just want some direct links to products that I recommend, you can check out the gear page on my website, danesfmusic.com, where I list everything that I talk about. On to guitar posture and how to hold a guitar pick. So assuming you're right-handed, we want the groove here to be on our right leg, and we want the guitar body to be up against our body. Now this is going to be the same for electric and classical guitars as well. Now if you're left-handed, I actually recommend playing guitar as a right-hander unless you've already bought a left-handed guitar, which if you have, just mirror everything and have this on the left side and the neck facing the other way. So I'm going to have the back of the guitar body up against me. I'm going to have the neck straight out like that to my left. And if it's a bigger guitar like this, I'm actually going to use the underside of my right arm here to hold the guitar up there, so that when I hold my hands up like this, the guitar neck is staying nice and floating there, and it's resting on my leg. If it's a smaller guitar like this, like an electric, I'll most likely use my forearm to keep the guitar in place. I may even need to use my left hand to hold the guitar neck up, because sometimes the neck can be heavier, so it'll droop down. It depends on the guitar you have. When it comes to holding a guitar pick, what you actually want to do is you want to pretend like you're holding a broomstick and rest your thumb on the last digit of your index finger on the side here. And when you do that, you can see that forms this hole. I'm going to take the fat end of the pick and I'm going to slide it in here so that only a small bit of the tip is sticking out, and the majority of it is in between my thumb and my index finger. This is going to give us good grip and control. But take note that the pick is on the side of my index finger and not on like the pad of the finger. This is the most important thing when it comes to guitar: practice. Without decent practice, you're not going to get anywhere with guitar, so get into a good habit early on. The question of how much should I practice ends up varying, but the quick answer is, when you're starting out, to get 30 minutes or more a day of quality practice. Notice that I emphasized quality there, because a small amount of quality practice is better than a lot of bad practice. Quality basically means that you make sure what you're playing sounds good, and that you're not just settling for good enough, or that you don't just get impatient and move on to the next thing because you feel like it. If you're not sure what you're playing sounds good or not, ask yourself, if I heard somebody else playing this, would I say that it sounds good or that it sounds bad? If something doesn't sound good, like a note is buzzing or the rhythm is bad, do yourself a favor and take the time to fix it. It'll really help in the long run of playing. One last thing to cover here are calluses on our fingertips. Now, they will form over time and they can be uncomfortable the first few weeks or so of practice, but it will get better. Just remember that like discomfort is normal, that's okay, but pain is not. If you're experiencing pain, do yourself a favor, just take a break and go back to it later. Your routine is going to change and develop as you learn more about yourself as a guitar player, and your practice time should increase as well. Just remember, have fun. If you're not having fun, then what's the point of playing? So always remember that. Now we're going to head to the next course video and we're going to learn how to tune the guitar.